Let's get started with our first news. Duprees slams Belal Muhammad. Duprees recently made a bold appearance on the Ariel Helwani show and delivered some seriously strong statements ahead of his upcoming middleweight title defense against Kamzat, and let's just say he did not hold back. Speaking with confidence and fire in his voice, Duprees said he fully believes he's going to break Kamzat when they step inside the octagon, not just beat him, break him. He said he is a special fighter, he's incredibly good, I can't wait. This win for me, this is going to be history. I'm going to go out there and shock the world once again. And that's not just talk. Duprees has been counted out before. He knows what it's like to be the underdog, and every time he's proven the doubters wrong. This time, he plans to do it in the biggest way possible, by breaking the so-called boogeyman of the middleweight division. He added, "Every other time, everybody said it's impossible. Not this guy. Not this guy. I'm going to go out there and you're gonna see the boogeyman break. You're gonna see him break in there. Then you'll realize there's only one boogeyman, and that's me." And he didn't just say it once. He doubled down. "In the middleweight division, there can only be one boogeyman," Duprees declared, "and that will be me." That's a statement. That's a declaration of war. And with UFC 319 around the corner, it's clear that Duprees isn't just looking to defend his belt, he's looking to make a statement that no one will forget. But the trash talk didn't end there. Duprees also took a not-so-subtle shot at Belal Muhammad, who recently lost the welterweight title to JDM. After that loss, Duprees took to X, formerly known as Twitter, and posted a short but sharp message. "Well done, JK." Now on the surface it might seem like a simple comment, but when Ariel brought it up during the interview it became clear that there was more behind it. Duprees responded to Ariel by saying, "I was watching the fight just to see him lose. That was literally it. I think he's an absolute. I was really happy to see that. That tweet was ready before the fight even started. It was basically copy-paste go." So not only did he watch with the hope that Belal would lose, he had the tweet prepared in advance. That's how confident and invested he was in watching Belal get taken out. This level of shade shows there's definitely no love lost between Duprees and Belal. And if their paths ever cross in the future, the build-up will be just as intense as the fight itself. One thing's for sure, Duprees is making it known that he's here to dominate. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We're constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That's why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now on to another story. Khamzat Chimaev has officially shut down all the rumors about him retiring after UFC 319. As the hype builds for his massive middleweight title showdown against Dricus Duprees at UFC 319 in Chicago, an unexpected rumor started making the rounds in the MMA community. The rumor claimed that if Kamzat were to win the belt, he'd immediately retire from the sport, walking away at the peak after finally achieving UFC gold. Now that sort of rumor would be huge news for fans in the UFC alike. After all, Kamzat is one of the most talked about, polarizing, and dangerous fighters on the roster. But where did this rumor even start? Well, nobody really knows, but it gained enough traction that ESPN's Brett Okamoto decided to ask Kamzat directly about it in an interview earlier this week. When asked, Kamzat didn't hesitate to laugh it off, literally. He laughed and said, "You know, there's this rumor that if I win the championship, I will retire. Have you seen this?" Then he added, half jokingly, "Yeah, I've seen that. Someone said I'm going to. I don't know where they heard that stuff. I need money, bro. This is not enough. I can't just go for one title and then retire." That was classic Kamzat. Brutally honest, a little funny, and very clear about his goals. He wasn't just making jokes though. He followed up by setting the record straight on his future. He said, "Hopefully if I don't get any injury or anything, I'm going to defend the belt, or maybe even fight for another belt in ABUDB as well." So not only is he not retiring, he's talking about going for a second belt, which likely means he's keeping an eye on either the welterweight or light heavyweight division. If he becomes middleweight champ at UFC 319, a champ run might be next on his radar. Let's be real, Kamzat isn't someone who came to the UFC to disappear after one big win. He's notorious for chasing greatness. From day one, he's talked about wanting to smash everybody, fight multiple times a year, and become the greatest. A guy like that doesn't walk away after a title win. He doubles down. And with Abu Dhabi in his plans, it looks like he's already thinking ahead. That makes sense. The UFC has a strong presence in the Middle East, and Kamzat has massive fan support there. A title defense or super fight in Abu Dhabi could be a huge event for both him and the UFC. So fans, don't believe the hype when you hear whispers of retirement. If Kamzat wins at UFC 319, it might just be the beginning of something even bigger. The Wolf's not walking away. He's hunting for more. Moving on to the next story. Arman says Ilia is ducking him. There's some serious tension brewing in the lightweight division, and it's coming from Arman. He's calling out the champion Ilia, and according to him, Ilia is doing everything he can to avoid a real challenge. Arman strongly believes that Ilia has no intention of defending his lightweight title against him. Why? Because, in Arman's words, Ilia is scared. Scared he's going to lose. And it's not just speculation. This comes right after Ilia made headlines by saying he'd rather vacate the title than defend it against Arman next. That's right, he'd give the belt up, walk away from the division, and possibly move up in weight just to avoid that matchup. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Arman laid it all out. He said he feels like he's going to lose that fight and it's better to give the belt away and then go up, or just wait to see what happens with me because he knows I'm a big problem for him. Arman isn't backing down, and he's making it very clear, if Ilia wants to be seen as a true champion, then he can't be ducking contenders. Especially not someone like Arman, who's been grinding his way up the division and earning his shot. Arman continued, I'm going to get his title, he knows that. He just wants an easy fight. Someone like Paddy Pimblett or Justin Gaethje. He's looking for a big name and a big payday, but without taking the real risk. And to be fair, Ilia versus Paddy or Ilia versus Gaethje might bring in big numbers, but Arman is not buying the business angle. He sees it as fear of losing, fear of facing someone who's gonna bring relentless pressure, elite wrestling, and top-tier cardio. But with me, Arman said, it's going to be hard for him. He's not just talking either, he's ready. Physically, mentally, and emotionally, Arman emphasized that he's already told the UFC he's prepared to fight in September or October, and if the stars align, he'll be ready for Ilia in December. I train twice a day. I'm healthy now. I'm in shape. I'm not recovering from anything. So if they say October with somebody else and then December with Ilia, for sure, I'm ready. That's not a call-out. That's a challenge. Now the pressure is on Ilia. Fans, analysts, and fighters alike are watching to see what he does next. Will he rise to the occasion and defend his title against the top contender? Or will he vacate, move up, and leave the questions unanswered? Arman's made his move. Now it's Ilia's turn. Next up, Kamzat fires back at Shawn Strickland. The tension between Khamzat Chimaev and Shawn Strickland just got a whole lot more intense. Earlier this week, Strickland didn't hold back when he took shots at Kamzat, calling him mentally weak. He brought up Kamzat's sudden retirement during the COVID pandemic, saying he was there when it happened and even trained alongside him during that time. Strickland said, Kamzat is just... I was there when he retired from COVID. I was training with him. There's even a video of me saying, oh, you're so good, you're better than everybody, and I was being completely sarcastic. The gig is up. He didn't stop there. Strickland accused Kamzat of picking easy fights to protect himself, saying, look, I get it, you're better than most. You're better than everybody, so just don't go around hurting people. You could have picked someone like Edmond Shabazian, a high-level UFC fighter, but instead you chose to starch a guy who's only won one, because he's the same height as your future opponent. Come on, man. You picked him because you're a sour. Those were strong words, and it didn't take long for Kamzat to respond. Now that he's back in the US, Chimaev isn't staying quiet. He clapped back hard, questioning Strickland's bravery and calling him out for only talking tough when Kamzat wasn't around. Kamzat said, when I was there, he never said anything, not one word. But the moment I left Las Vegas when they canceled my travel visa, that's when he started talking. Now I'm back. I'm here in Los Angeles, so come on. If it's personal for you, just come. I'm here. I'm ready whenever he wants. This back and forth has the MMA world buzzing. Both men are known for their raw, unfiltered personalities, but this could be turning into something even bigger than trash talk. Let's break it down. Strickland's accusations hit at Kamzat's credibility, saying he ducks real fights and only looks dominant because he avoids dangerous opponents. Kamzat's response puts the ball in Strickland's court, essentially telling him to back up his words and meet him face to face. Both fighters are highly ranked, both are fan favorites, and both have a history of explosive performances inside and outside the octagon. If this keeps escalating, the UFC might just have a massive fight on their hands. This isn't just personal, it's potentially a main event in the making. So what do you think? Is Strickland right about Kamzat dodging real competition? Or is Kamzat correct in saying Strickland's all talk, only speaking up when it's safe? Either way, this feud is just getting started. Let's move on to some exciting developments in the world of MMA. It looks like Islam has officially begun his training camp. Yes, that's right, the lightweight champion is back in the gym, preparing for what could be his next big fight. While the bout isn't official just yet, all signs are pointing toward a showdown with JDM. According to recent reports, Islam has started sharpening his tools for a potential clash that could take place in November at Madison Square Garden. That's a massive venue, and a fight of this caliber would fit right in. The UFC has a long history of stacking cards at MSG, and if Islam versus JDM is added to the mix, it's going to be one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Now, while the UFC hasn't made any formal announcements yet, Khabib dropped a major hint recently. He said that the fight is being discussed and that both camps are already preparing like it's a done deal. Coming from someone like Khabib, that's not something you take lightly. The man knows what's going on behind the scenes. And let's talk about the matchup itself. JDM is one of the most dangerous strikers in the division right now. His hands are fast, his movement is sharp, and he's got that killer instinct. But on the other side, you have Islam, the master of control, the man who has dominated almost everyone who's stepped in the cage with him. This fight is going to be a real test of styles. The classic striker versus grappler scenario. JDM has the power and precision to end the fight in one clean shot, but Islam has the ability to drag his opponents into deep water, smother them, break their rhythm, and completely shut them down. The big question is, can JDM stop the takedown? Can he keep it standing long enough to land something significant? Or will Islam get in close, drag him down, and control every second on the mat? Fans are already buzzing online. Social media is flooded with predictions, debates, and early breakdowns. Some think JDM's striking is too much for Islam. Others say Islam's grappling is just on another level, and JDM won't last 2 rounds once it hits the canvas. There's also a lot of speculation about the co-main event. If this fight headlines MSG, who joins them on the card, there are rumors about other big names being added, but nothing confirmed yet. One thing is clear, if Islam is already training, he's taking this fight very seriously, and that means we're in for a war. Stay tuned, because once the UFC makes it official, the countdown to Madison Square Garden begins. And finally, let's talk about something that's been generating a ton of discussion. Kamaru Usman has weighed in on the UFC possibly booking Ilia versus Paddy Pimblett for the lightweight title. That's right. The mere suggestion that Paddy could be next in line to fight for the belt has set off a firestorm in the MMA community, and Usman didn't hold back in sharing his thoughts. According to him, if the UFC skips over all the top contenders and gives Paddy the shot, it would basically be like spitting on the entire merit-based system, the whole idea that the best should fight the best. Usman made it clear he doesn't blame Paddy personally. He said it's not Paddy's fault. Paddy has done a great job with the opposition he's been given. He's done a phenomenal job to even put himself into this conversation, and that's a fair point. Paddy has made the most of every opportunity, built a fan base, generated buzz, and stayed undefeated in the UFC so far. But Usman followed that up with a reality check. He continued, "If we're looking at the lightweight rankings, we've got Ilia as the champ, and I'm assuming next you've got Arman. That makes sense. If you're not gonna give the shot to Justin Gaethje, I don't know why Islam is still in the picture, but if not Gaethje, then it's gotta be Arman." It's a strong take, and a lot of fans seem to agree. The lightweight division is stacked. You've got Arman, Dan Hooker, Mateusz Gamrot, Beneil Dariush, all of them ranked ahead of Paddy. These are guys who have taken on top-tier competition, paid their dues, and climbed their way up through brutal wars and tough matchups. Usman pointed that out too. He said, yes, you've got Dan Hooker, you've got Mateusz Gamrot, Beneil Dariush. All of them are ahead of Paddy Pimblett. So to skip all of these guys and just give him a title shot, that kind of spits in the face of the idea that the best fights the next best guy. He's not wrong. If you suddenly toss rankings aside and hand out title shots based on popularity alone, it sends a message that merit doesn't matter. And in a division like lightweight, where every inch is earned through blood and sweat, that doesn't sit well with a lot of people. Usman wrapped it up by saying if it's not going to be in September or October, and if you're not going to give it to Justin, then it has to be Arman. Simple as that. And when the host heard that, he didn't hesitate. "Yeah, I like that," he said. "You're 100." So now the question is, will the UFC do what's right by the rankings, or will they go with what sells? Is it going to be the fight that fans respect or the one they tune in for? Only time will tell. But one thing's clear, Kamaru Usman believes this division should stay about earning your shot, not skipping the line.